from Collage. I am back with another video to tell you and talk to you about my latest finished object. So I'm finished 2 projects I'm excited to share about, and then I want to share what I'm knitting in the next couple months, what's on my plate. I have a lot of knitting plans. As always, my queue is high. So to start off, let's talk about my As If tee, which I just finished. And I was very inspired by Christy Glasses that I saw in person and on her social media. It's beautiful, and decided to knit my own, and I adore it. So this pattern is called the As If tee, and it is by Shay Johnson. In her business name, or her Instagram handle is Knit and Crochet, SHAW. And I encourage you to learn more about her. She was on my podcast recently, maybe a month ago, and has a fantastic story. She works as a high-powered lawyer, day job, and then on the side is a knitting pattern designer, which is pretty incredible. So this sweater was so much fun to knit. It was really fun to pick out yarns for. I knit size number 2, the second size, I believe, and I added a 1/2 inch to the body length. So I made it a little bit longer, but not a ton longer. I like high-waisted pants a lot, so it's perfect for these high-waisted pants I have a ton of. I don't want my belly to ever show. That's the one thing I'm sort of anti. So it feels like it came out to be a pretty good length for that. I love that it's a little bit boxy. I'm not a huge fan of tight-fitting sweaters, so I love just tight-fitting tops in general. So I love that this is a little bit loose, and I adore this sheer mohair detail. The back is gorgeous. So the yarns I used 2 yarns that I plied up. So these are both Primrose hand-dyed yarns that I got at JP Knit and Stitch, which is a shop near me in Boston. And let's see, what are they? So one is called Ultimate Sock, and one is called Rose, which is a sport weight. And I held them together and I got gauge, and it worked. So the pattern calls for an Aran weight yarn. I did not use an Aran weight yarn. I had trouble finding one I really liked. So I held those 2 together, got gauge, and went with it. And then for the mohair, I used this Chelsea Luxe yarn, which is my friend Christina's yarn line. She owns a yarn store in New Jersey. Most of her yarns are hand-dyed and really colorful, but this one I chose because I knew I wanted white for the top part. And this color is For Snow. It's a kid mohair silk, and it's really soft and pretty. So only thing I will say about this pattern is that I knit it as the pattern suggested until I got to the yoke. You're supposed to carry your main color body yarn for about half of the yoke stitches, and I decided to not do that. Because of the ivory, you can really see the floats or strands in the back. So I only did it for a couple rows in the very beginning, and then I broke it and just picked up the yarn for the rest of it. And I put the yarn in 2 balls, and it worked perfectly. So I did that, and that was one modification. Another annoying thing is that I dropped a stitch over here. I didn't notice it until I was casting off, and I really didn't want to frog it. So I let it be, and I stitched it to the back of my work. I tried a couple different things. Everything was super noticeable. You can still kind of see it. When it's my own yarn, I'm much more like, I'll frog it, I'll make it perfect. But when it's just a personal thing, I don't care too much. I don't think anyone's gonna notice too much. I just go with it. Mohair is so painful to frog. On my Cumulus blouse, I had to frog in the very beginning, and it's really tricky to frog, and I just didn't want to do it. So I didn't. But otherwise, everything about this was awesome. I am so excited to wear it immediately. It's very lightweight, so I can really wear this, I think, all summer long. And then I was thinking it would look really cute with like a more military type jacket over top, like something a little bit tougher. So that is on my mind as well. And I think Shay's coming out with an extended size range in the pattern pretty soon. So she's got cool updates. So I encourage you to go check out her work and her pattern as well. Okay, so then the other thing I finished over Memorial Day weekend was a sweater that was designed by a woman who works with us a lot. Her name is Laurel, and she does a lot of test knits for us. Let's see if I can put this on for you. I actually haven't tried it on yet. Oh my gosh, I'm so into it. So it's kind of like, I think we're calling it the Pixelated Colorwork sweater. It's in our Spun Cloud and our Wildflower yarn. So I'm gonna add a closure. I just haven't really decided yet. So this is for my upcoming TNNA trade show. I'm really excited about this, and I think it's a nice basic pattern for us to have. It will work with a lot of our yarns, so get excited for that coming in the fall. It's really, really, really pretty. Really simple, pretty colorwork pattern. So I finished that over Memorial Day. I finally blocked it, woven the ends. This sweater I will be knitting after I get back from the TNNA. This is the Beachy Cardi, which I did a video about a couple weeks ago. I love this. So these are the colors I chose. I'm gonna be doing, really I just go with what I have yarn of. Because we have so little yarn right now, I kind of have to go with what's in the stash. So I'm gonna be doing this. I was gonna go bright, but we don't have a ton of those yarns left. So I'm gonna be doing this, and I still really like it. So I'll be knitting this. This won't take me that long because I've knitted a few times already. So I'll be doing that, starting that next week. Before I get to this, I have one project planned that is going to be for the trade show, which I think I can knock out in like a day. So using this yarn, which is our Wanderlust yarn in Graffiti. Love this yarn. It's very sophisticated, I think. And then I'll be mixing it with a new Spun Cloud color called Lavender Dust, which I'm super into. It's very, very much similar to this As If Tea. I'm feeling the sort of dusty, super light purples. I think I'm gonna mix in this yarn, which is a new yarn I'm calling Dreamland, coming out in the fall as well. So I'm thinking it's going to be either a mix of herringbone or crisscross stitches and a stripe. So I'll be posting about that on Instagram. So I'm excited about that. And then I want to tell you about the 3 other projects I have planned, not in my yarns, but it's always kind of fun to have some things that are like, you know, more just for my fun, to try out different people's patterns and do something that doesn't have to be perfect, can have that drop stitch. It's really more for my own enjoyment and to be able to share it with you guys. So I have 3 sweaters. The first is the Knittorious RBG, which is by Park Williams of Park and Knit. So I'm knitting her sweater in not the traditional colors that she had it in, which is black and white. And that, of course, is a nod to Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who is an idol of mine, like so many people. And the original is, it's black with the white color work, mimicking her Supreme Court Justice color. It is a very, I feel like you wear that and you feel powerful and strong. And so I am really excited to knit this. It looks like a fairly simple colorwork pattern. It's cropped, fantastic sleeve. And I'm gonna be knitting it in these yarns. So this will be my main color, the mustard, and the gray will be for the yoke. This is a Malabrigo, and it's a worsted weight yarn. It's Malabrigo Rios. This is, what color is this? This is color Purl, and this is color Frank Ochre. So I'm excited about that. Then, as some of you know, my sister is having a baby. So I have 2 sweaters planned for her. And the first one is the Little Baby Sweater by Purl Soho. So I was in New York a couple weeks ago. This is going to be a very quick knit. It's like a gradient. So it's a gradient stripe in these mini skeins of their Posy yarn. With this is the main color and these are the contrast colors. Jessie was not excited about the neon, but I think it's gonna be really good in there. And she just is having trouble envisioning it because she's not a knitter, a big knitter. So And it's gonna be really good. And I'll probably do this first after the TNNA because it's gonna be really quick. And then the last pattern I'm planning on doing is a pattern by Misha and Puff. It's a knitted sunsuit, like a little baby romper sunsuit in their bonsai pattern collection. So if you don't know Misha and Puff, it's a beautiful hand knit baby collection that my friend Anna Wallach runs, and she sells some of the patterns under the website Studio Misha Puff. That's on Ravelry as well. It's a really cute sunsuit, and I'm excited to knit it because it'll be my first time ever knitting like a full piece garment. And you know, for a baby, it feels like a good way to try that out without having it be too you know, full size and scary. The idea of knitting an entire like me-size romper sounds fun too, but to do it on a baby first and deal with like the butt and the crotch and the straps, I think that's a little bit less daunting, so I'm excited. So Jesse's having a boy, hence the blues and greens and grays, and this is what I will be knitting it in. This is La Bien Amie, which I got in Paris in May, and it is their Aran weight yarn. Aran weight yarn, color smoke. So I'm excited about this. This should be really fun. So that is everything except one. The other thing kind of on my list, which I think is going to be an ongoing background project because I'll probably have to carry all my yarn in like a garbage bag because it's going to be a lot, is the Cardizen by Cardizen, I should say. I'm saying that wrong. Cardizen by Denise Bayron Handmade. I'm gonna be making that, and I'm gonna do it in a way that's a lot like my Penguano sweater. So my Penguano, I'll post a pic here, was really crazy, a lot of different yarns all mixed together, Stash and mine. So I plan to do the Cardizen exactly like that. It's sort of like a waterfall edge cardigan in a rectangle shape with sleeves coming out of it. So I think it's gonna be very easy and adaptable to do in just a really artistic, almost like painting with all the different yarns together. So I'm really excited about that. So those are all my projects. I am feeling very ambitious about my summer knitting. And if you're interested in this sort of video and me sharing more about what's on my what's on my needles, what I'm knitting at Knit Collage, what I'm knitting just for fun, I would so love for you to leave a comment or drop me an email, amy@knitcollage.com, if you'd like to see more of this. I'd really love to get it to more of like a weekly or every other week thing if time allows. So let me know what you think. I think my knitting has reached truly obsessive levels, but I'm so happy being that person because it truly brings me so much joy, and this sweater is the top reason right now why I am so happy. I just love it. All right, thank you so much for tuning in. Bye.